So you get sort of dense up here, less dense down here, and then a bit denser as it starts to join again. A fawn with an umbrella by a lamppost in the snow is the image that C.S. Lewis held with him since he was 16 that started this whole story.
If any character is really well described in the book, it's probably Tumnus. And it was my most anxiety-ridden character I had to create for this film.
Mr Tumnus was a very difficult character to find. When James came to audition, initially I almost would have gone past him because he was so young and good-looking, and I'd never really imagined Tumnus that way. And my assistant Alina actually was the one who said, go back and look at him again. On top of that, we were incredibly lucky that he and Georgie just connected, and there was just a chemistry and a magic between the two of them that just comes through.
If you don't mind my asking, what are you?
Well, I'm a fawn.
A fawn is a half man, half deer / goat character.
How much does the animal infringe on the man, and how much does the man infringe on the animal? Became a big thing, because ultimately you don't want it to be the animal infringing on the man. You want it to be the being. Do you know what I mean? The singular, not the sandwiching of two. Weighing in.
Wearing red and...
Mr. Tumnus wears a red scarf. That is it. And if you think that was easy, just look at those 8 red scarves we went through before we finally knitted up the perfect Mr. Tumnus scarf.
You see?
We had done many, many tests, and Andrew had liked certain things and didn't like certain things.
He could have written these characters as just humans if they were meant to be just boring and normal, so we want it to be interesting, but not to overpower the character as well.
How much of his real nose is there?
It's just a tip piece.
It's just the tip or tip, right?
Yeah, that's where the piece is right there.
I didn't even think about a nose when I was being cast for the part. I didn't think about any kind of snout or anything. Oh no, I'm going to have a big silly nose on every day.
It took a couple days to figure out what was the best nose to use, and we kept modifying it. I kept calling Greg here in K&D going, I need a new nose sculpted, quick, pronto, sculpt it today, mold it, send me the molds, da, da, da.
The one that we started off with was quite large and was very, beast-like. And as we progressed, we discovered that subtler was the way to go.
We finally came to the most simplistic. Let's utilize the actor's face. The hair work is one thing, the ears are one thing, because that's very Mr. Tumnus. The horns are one thing. But really, as far as prosthetics go, let's just worry about the tip of the nose. Something gradual like this, Andrew.
Yeah, I wouldn't put any more on this line now.
All right,
Yeah.
The hair became an issue of just how far it comes up. What looks good and what looks real weren't always the same thing.
The other thing might be how it is to start with a slightly lighter hair.
Yeah, almost blonde.
Yes.
Hair color was a huge thing. We had picked a chestnut. Once we got to set and started filming, Don McAlpine, who's the cinematographer on the film, shooting things very contrasty, so the color we had chose actually didn't work. We ended up having to go back and really throw highlights into all the hair pieces and eventually change all the hair color to his body hair being blonde. And it still registers kind of dark on film.
Usually it takes 3.5 to 4 hours. So it's a slog, and we have to, we get early start.
We had a lot of body hair work to do. We'd lay hair up and down James' arm and up his back. Well,
I'd just get covered in glue all down my back, up here, around there, and then hair gets stuck on individually. Maybe 15 pieces of hair, which is nothing. It's tiny,
So we would hand lay hair, tons and tons of hair.
And then they'll do it again, and then again, and then again, and it covers me all here, and it takes forever.
Then once that was all laid, we would style it with these hot curling irons, make it feel very organic and very natural and have curl to it. And then he would stand up. It was time for him to take his sweatpants off, because our calls were early, like 3:30 in the morning, so it was freezing. He'd take his sweatpants off, and we'd make him put on little green screen pants for the digital guys.
As I understand it, the process of green screen and how they're going to use my goat legs is they get eye of toad, tongue of newt, and it's all magical. It's not computers at all.
So he's in makeup from his waist up, so we had to add the goat legs.
We went down the road of using motion capture, and we decided not just to do motion capture in a stage, but we decided to do it on set. Not just on set, but we would do it outside.
We set up cameras to gather his data. We actually did it in the Czech Republic, running around in the snow.
If you want to have the human portion filmed on set, you've got to have the upper body move in a way that makes sense. That when we put the goat legs in, it all kind of works together. At the end of the day, the simple thing worked out that walking on your tiptoes forces your body to move in a way that is much the same way as the kind of reverse leg that you see on a goat.
I have to wear the most hideous green screen pants you've ever seen in your life. Grotty, it's like lycra, dirty nonsense.
He had little tracking marks all over his legs that they would then use for tracking to digitally composite CGI font legs over his own legs.
The CG element is tracked so that we know where his hips are. The legs and the hips are attached to the body, and then we go in and we lay in the foot placement underneath. There's a lot of animation work that goes into getting those feet placed and really feeling the weight and the compression. You need to feel that in the heel, and you need to feel it in all over the leg.
As a human, sometimes he would daintily put his foot down in it, but we needed more of a feeling of a heavy hoof. And so the first thing we would do was lock down the feet. And then the real trick is, as it comes down and it makes contact, that's when you really want to see the ankle compress. And that really sells the weight of it.
Once we're happy with the performance, then there's a whole nother slew of technical people that have to go in and then make sure the fur's working, or that when they step on grass, the grass moves, or if they're moving in the snow, you get footprints and snow gets kicked off.
Different artists work on the color of the hair, whether the hair is more transparent or less transparent, thicker or denser. Also, we add a little bit of snow to Mr. Tumnus's fur, and that helps us integrate his legs and feet into the snowy plate as well.
Each one of these shots has, hundreds of people that were involved in its creation.
We shoot for 14 hours, and then we bring poor James back into the trailer. We clean it all off. It all gets on the floor, sweep it up, throw it away. None of it is salvageable. And we clean James off. Off he goes, and we'll see him again in 8 hours and do it again.
Let the fun times roll.